The YMCA education series is free and open to the public, so we encourage you to spread the word and invite family and friends to participate. We host approximately 8 to 10 of these programs a month, varying in all different topics. This program will last about an hour, and you might feel that if you find that you have questions during the presentation, we will be happy to address them at the end of the program. When you have a question for the speaker, simply type it into the chat section of your screen, and I will relay the question at the end of the program. You may also raise your hand and ask a question yourself if the chat button isn't working for you. I ask that you please keep your questions general, and we will do our very best to address all of them today. Thank you again for joining us today. And now I would like to introduce you to Denise Schwartz from the Manual Touch Physical Therapy, here to talk to you about Heal Pain Naturally.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks for having me back. I've done many talks here at the Y, and people have been very nice and welcoming. So thank you so much. As Nicole is, Nicole, can you hear me okay? Am I breaking up at all?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good, thanks. All right. So as Nicole said, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them at the end of the talk. Just put it in the chat box. It's a little hard to interact while we're in the middle of the discussion. I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but I thought I'd share something with you that's so cute. And I know we're getting started late, but we'll still should be done by 1. So since the pandemic started over a year ago, I have a former patient of mine has been sending me weekly cards with a sheet of what you might call as dad jokes, just really clean, fun jokes. I get a new joke sheet every week. So this week I got, and it looks like this. It's really cute. So if you sign up for my newsletter, we usually send out some of these jokes every week with the newsletter. So if you go ahead and put your email in the chat box, I'll be happy to start you sending the newsletter. Anyway, so I thought I'd tell you one joke. This week's jokes were about golf. I don't know if we have any golfers on here, but I thought they were cute. So I'm just plucking one of the jokes. Why does the golf pro tell you to keep your head down during lessons? So you can't see them laughing. I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, okay. I am going to share my screen. Oh, Nicole, you need to allow me as a host in order to share the screen. So first off, again, my name is Denise Schwartz. I'm a physical therapist and the owner of the Manual Touch Physical Therapy in Wheeling. I'm at the corner of Milwaukee and Dundee, so I'm literally the next street west of Northbrook. I've been a PT a very long time, over 30 years. I started my career at Lutheran General Hospital, working in the hospital, and then eventually moved within a couple of years into being outpatient, meaning people come to see me. After I finished school, I realized that back pain is the #1 reason people go to see the doctor. So I started taking lots of classes on how to become an expert in treating back pain. And I know this is talking about heel pain, but we're going to get to that. And so I became an expert in treating people with back pain in what I call more of a traditional physical therapy method. And I did really well. And then I started studying some non-traditional therapy. And what I found with this non-traditional hands-on manual therapy is I could help everybody get better. So a combination of the two worked really nicely. Once I left the hospital, I went and started the franchise of this specialty clinic called Integrated Manual Therapy, and I worked there for about 7 years. And then 11 years ago, I opened the Manual Touch Physical Therapy. And what I did is I combined my traditional physical therapy skills with my non-traditional physical therapy schools to look at people as a whole person to get them back doing the things that they love to do. Along the way, I developed a passion for running. And this is where I started becoming an expert in feet as well, because you got to have good feet to run, which I don't have. In fact, I just had my second foot surgery 2 weeks ago for some arthritis in my big toe. So Nicole, I still need you to enable me as the host so I could share my screen.
Okay, 1 second. Um, that work?
Yes, here we go. Okie dokie. So the last couple times I've noticed they got rid of the laser pointer and I don't know why. So sometimes I have a little bit of trouble getting that going. So, all right. So this is a talk about heel pain. There's a lot of problems that you can have in the foot. So we sort of just took it as heel pain. And we need to figure out, let's see here. Nicole, can you see my arrow?
I can.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's what I'll use. Okay. So you use, it's called mouse now instead of laser. Anyway, so when people have heel pain, typically people will say that they have pain first thing in the morning. They'll have pain standing up after sitting for a while. Maybe after they've gone for a walk or run, then their heel will start hurting. Sometimes it hurts while you're doing the activity. Sometimes people, especially my runners who have heel pain, it'll hurt in the beginning of the run, and then after about 10 minutes, it will ease up. So let's take a look at the foot. Foot's a pretty complex part of our bodies. There are 23 bones, there are 29 muscles, some that only are in the foot itself, and some that begin up in the calf area. And then there's all those little bones in the foot are connected by ligaments. So there's a lot of ligaments. There's a lot going on in the foot. Something that we've all probably heard about is something called plantar fascia. And this is a thick layer of tissue on the bottom of the foot. Right here, you can see it. And it attaches right at the heel back here. And because it's actually a fascial tissue, it's not muscular tissue, it interconnects with the fascial tissue going up the back of the heel, which then connects to the calf, and then the fascial tissue that goes throughout the whole body. You could sort of think of the fascial tissue as a web that interweaves throughout every organ and muscle of our body. So just because we have pain down here doesn't mean we don't have a kink somewhere else up in the fascial tissue, somewhere else in the body. Think of a garden hose when the water isn't coming out at the end. The problem is not at the end. And sometimes it's at the faucet, but oftentimes it's because there's a kink along the hose somewhere. So that's what we're looking for oftentimes when people are having pain somewhere, is where's it really coming from? So who can get heel pain or foot pain? You could have, it could be anybody. It could be people who sit all the time and very sedentary. It could be people who are very active. It could be runners, tennis players, just people walking. You could have a high arched foot like I do, or you could have really flat feet. People who stand all day at work, people who sit all day at work. Any of these types of people can get heel pain or foot pain. One of the things that could help you protect your feet from getting heel pain is knowing how to, is getting yourself fitted for a good pair of walking/running shoes, which provides some nice support. This is a link to a blog post that I wrote about how to help you choose the right shoes for yourself. Some tests that you do when you go to the shoe store and the salesperson is helping you with the shoes. And again, if you put your email in the chat box, I will send you a copy of a PDF copy of this PowerPoint with some other additional ebooks and information for you. All right, so what are the 4 most common problems of heel pain? plantar fasciitis, heel spur, stress fracture, or fat pad atrophy. And point out over the bottom of our heel is a fat pad, and that tends to thin out over time as people age. So probably one of the most common issues that people have when they have pain in their heel is a micro tear of the plantar fascia, which we call plantar fasciitis or plantar fasciopathy. The telltale sign of this is people have pain first thing in the morning or after they're sitting a while and then they get up to move. They will notice that their heel or the bottom of their foot starts to hurt. You typically will have pain as you start to walk or run. Sometimes people's pain ease up as they're walking or running, and it may reoccur after walking or running for 2-3 miles. Sometimes it doesn't, but then afterwards when they're resting and recovering, then their foot throbs again. So those are common telltale signs of plantar fascia. When we poke around on the bottom of your foot, usually people have pain in the arch of their foot, usually on the inside of the foot, like right here. You'll have tenderness in there, and then I'll have people with tenderness here where the plantar fascia attaches. They'll have it here, not up here so much, okay? But usually down in this area, or this area. That all could be plantar fasciitis. In fact, what's interesting is people will feel the pain usually in the center of the heel, but that doesn't often hurt right there. Sometimes people will have pain on the side of their ankle, on either side, and that's that fascial tenderness we were talking about, how it attaches. The way to treat plantar fasciitis, you really want to, and to prevent it, is to keep your calves stretched out, and then you'll get some strengthening and mobility exercises when you come in for physical therapy to strengthen up the muscles around your foot and the muscles in your legs. Something happened recently. One of my best friends had a bout of plantar fasciitis a couple of years ago. And she came in, I gave her some exercises. And a lot of times when people have heel pain, they're sort of afraid to move and hurt it because they really don't know what it is. You know, it could be a fracture. But when we know that it's plantar fasciitis, movement is way better and stretching is way better than just sitting and not doing anything. It will get worse. So we give you some stretching exercises, we give you some strengthening exercises, and we need to give you some mobility exercises, make you more flexible in the rest of your body so you don't keep irritating the foot. So actually back to my girlfriend. So a couple of years ago when she came to me and she wasn't moving a lot because it was hurting, I said, no, you need to move. And I gave her some exercises. Within a week, she was like 50% better. And then after about a month, it was tolerable. And then over time, it got better and better and it was gone. Well, recently, because she's sitting at home working every day at the computer, and because she's not at the office, she's at home, she's not wearing her shoes much. And all of a sudden, her foot pain and plantar fasciitis flared up again. And I said, well, you know what? You need to wear your shoes at home, even if you're sitting most of the time, because you need to support the arch of your foot even while it's at rest. Oftentimes your foot is sort of hanging out and sort of droopy. And so those muscles get a little tighten up and lax, or not lax, but tighten up. And then you can flare up your plantar fasciitis again. So even if you're at home, you want to wear your shoes more often. Not all the time, but most of the time. I have a PDF that you can download off from my website or off of here. You might actually be able to link on this while I'm talking and get to it. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think so. Well, you know what I could do? Where's the chat box? You know what, I'm sharing my screen.
McDanielTouch.com.
I don't think I can get to. I don't think I can get to the chat box. Oh, well. I could put that in the chat box later. Okay. The second most common cause of heel pain is a heel spur. And if any of you have these and you've gone to the podiatrist and they take an x-ray, it literally looks like an ice pick, like a curved ice pick in your foot. And it's amazing that it doesn't hurt more. But it typically only hurts when you're standing on it. I have found that when I poke around in the heel that people, you can't find the pain. But really what it is just a form of arthritis where the bone has formed extra bony tissue and it creates this dagger-like. And the way that you treat that is with some orthotics and some good shoes. Another common cause of heel pain is a stress fracture. And this, kind of like the others, would hurt when you're walking. But what's different about a stress fracture is that you might have sort of a constant, dull, achy pain in the heel that just never goes away. And it's worse when you stand on it, and it doesn't get better with any type of movement. And we usually can find a spot on the heel that we can poke around and find a tender spot. So if you think you might have this, you want to get an x-ray because you will need to get probably a walking boot. And the doctor will put you in a walking boot. The next thing is fat pad atrophy. And this is where you have a thinning of that fat pad around the bottom of the heel. Some of the exercises and treatment go along with this as well as the plantar fasciitis, but usually you need some sort of cushioning in the shoe, a heel cup, some taping is helpful. And this is where, your foot just hurts all the time when you stand on it. It's very uncomfortable. So it's really important for us to discern which one of these things is going on so we know how to treat them. We want to make sure that your symptoms are reproducible, like in the plantar fasciitis. I can take your toe and bend it backwards, and if it hurts the bottom of your arch, that's usually indicative that it's plantar fasciitis. If we poke around on the bottom of the foot or we find a real specific spot, then we need to know, is it soft tissue or is it the bone, a problem with a fracture or something. Here are some nice things that some people have said about our therapists here. It's me and another therapist, Kevin. Therapists at the Manual Touch gave me confidence that they knew what was wrong and what to do about it. And under their care, I quickly felt better and now on the road to better fitness. I had another person came in to see me for heel pain. So she couldn't play pickleball, she couldn't walk, she had difficulty golfing. And after learning the exercises and doing some good manual therapy with her, she was back on the golf course and playing pickleball. So what's the biggest mistake people make with heel pain? They ignore it. So when you start getting heel pain, it's typical to wait at least a few days or a week. But if it persists, really get it checked out. So you can do two things. You can see a physical therapist directly. You do not need a prescription to see PT anymore. However, if you do have Medicare, then Medicare guidelines, which is a federal law, supersedes the state law of being able to see me without a prescription. You do need to let your doctor know that you're coming to see a physical therapist because the doctor needs to sign off on the note that I send them. So it's always better to get a prescription from your doctor before you come in. However, if you do not have Medicare, you can come in right away. You do not need to call the doctor or see them, and then you can get started right away with your treatment. So people often ignore it. Like my girlfriend a few years ago, she just sort of avoided pain somehow. She stopped doing the things that she liked to do. And so she finally called me and we got a handle on it. Some people, if you go to the doctor, they might give you a shot. They might give you orthotics. I might need different shoes, all really good things. But sometimes what's missing is they might not send you in for physical therapy, which is where we're really going to handle why you got plantar fasciitis or more arthritis in your foot, or why did you get that heel fracture. This is where you're going to learn how and why you got it and how to take care of it so you don't happen again. And when you come in for physical therapy, we're going to look at how you move. So that's what we call fixture mechanics. We're going to look at how are you walking? Are there areas of your body that aren't moving the way we ideally want it to work? So then you're overstressing your foot and your heel. Are you weaker somewhere? So we're going to work on some strengthening exercises. And then we're going to give you some dynamic stretching or mobility exercises to make sure all the tissues are moving together the way they're supposed to. Oftentimes, the reason you have a foot issue is because of something going on in your back, hips, or pelvis. You don't move well up in that area. You have something going on in your spine that things have stiffened up. So we really got to get that mobilized. Or right in the ankle is a problem. So if the ankle doesn't move well, then you might stress or strain something going down in your foot or somewhere else up in your body. And then actually good shoes, appropriate shoes, and possibly orthotics are indicated as well. And we'll help guide you on that. Did I forget anything? Okay. This is an ebook I have that I'll be happy to send to you. If you put your email in the chat box, I'll be happy to send you this ebook on how to take care of yourself throughout the day so you don't get hurt. And then as a thank you for coming in, please give us a call. We will set up an appointment to do a telehealth call or a phone call to discuss what's going on with you and give you our recommendations. Do we need to send you back to the doctor for an x-ray? Or I'm like, no, you know what? I think you really need physical therapy. We can help you. Come on in and we'll get you scheduled for an appointment. Okay, I think I'm getting faster at these things. So I'm going to leave this up for a moment so you can see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this information in the chat box. And I'm going to come out of the screen here. Okay. I am going to put some information in the chat box. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. What was the other thing oh, I guess I can't get that link. Let me see here. I'm going to give you the link for that plantar fasciitis tip sheet. So those of you who are on your computer now, if you click on that link in the chat box, then it'll take you to being able to open that. So any questions? Anyone want to ask me questions about anything other than feet or heel pain? I'm happy to answer for you. Well, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned something from it. And if oh, shoot. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. My outside speaker died. Did it die earlier? Or were we able to hear everything?
No, I heard everything.
Okay, I just turned off for some reason. I guess it ran out of battery. Okay. All right.
All right,
Anybody?
thank you, Denise. Are you guys sure there's no questions? Okay, that concludes our YMCA Education Series presentation. On behalf of the North Suburban YMCA and our YES series, we thank you for supporting our organization and programs like these. A special thank you to Denise Schwartz for speaking with us today. Programs like this one are free and open to everyone in our community. So if you enjoyed today's program and would like to support the YMCA, please consider helping with a donation at www.nsymca.org. We hope to see you at our next speaker series on June 2nd at 9:15 on the topic of question and answer session with elder law attorney Matt Margulis. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Have a good holiday weekend.